Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Whether or Not. I'm your host for this week, Gavin Sandel, joined here with our forecaster, Ben Iaia. Ben, it's been a little bit like a seesaw this week. We had some very nice conditions. We were at the top of the seesaw Monday, Tuesday, but then we kind of went down on Wednesday and Thursday with a lot of rain. This weekend, what will it look like?
I think we are going to be on the upswing on that seesaw. I think Friday is going to be the very bottom of that. The cold front will be passing through, so we will have a couple of showers to contend with, especially in the afternoon, early evening. But when that front clears on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be going back up with mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the upper 50s.
Well, that's very good to hear. Well, we have a feature coming up from Austin Long about weather safety and preparedness, but right now, let's go straight into the nature in the news. Last week's solar eclipse was viewed by hundreds of millions of people across the continent. Though safe viewing was easily accessible through eclipse glasses, many people reported vision problems due to direct eye contact with the sun. Google searches for hurt eyes and why do my eyes hurt after the eclipse rose exponentially in the hours following the eclipse. The sun's powerful rays cannot be viewed from the naked eye. Over time, the rays can burn the retina and damage the macula, the part of the retina at the back of the eye that is responsible for central vision. Hundreds of medical practices also reported an influx of patients seeking optical care. Additionally, improper eclipse glasses can be blamed for sight issues. The Illinois Department of Public Health issued an emergency recall of one brand of solar glasses on Eclipse Day. This brand was available for sale across stores in the southern part of the state, as well as Amazon. While our quiz question last week revealed the next total eclipse will traverse Earth in 2026, the contiguous United States will not see totality until 2044.
Scientists worldwide have sounded the alarm for a cataclysmic bleaching event for coral reefs worldwide. Coral reefs become bleached when they become stressed from high ocean temperatures. When ocean temperatures rise, algae that helps coral survive begins to die. Coral reefs are important oceanic ecosystems for the health of marine life. In fact, coral reefs provide shelter and nutrients for millions of ocean-dwelling organisms and protect coastlines from coastal erosion. In the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, extensive coral death has already occurred, and bleaching has begun being reported in over 54 countries and territories. Australia's Great Barrier Reef is likely in the midst of its greatest bleaching event on record, with 75% of samples showing some degree of bleaching. High ocean temperatures are just one part of the story, as acidification is yet another factor that contributes to coral bleaching. When oceans absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide, the waters become more acidic, which limits the growth of coral reefs. While bleached coral can rebound, if waters remain too warm or acidic, coral reefs will die, resulting in severe consequences for marine life and coastal regions.
A U.S. state known for aggressive climate change policies has been found to be the world's greatest emitter of a greenhouse gas. Sulfurofluoride is a gas that was used in pesticides since 1959 and has more recently been used to rid termites from houses and shipping ports. It gained popularity after governments phased out more reactive fumigants that were depleting the ozone layer. Since then, urban regions of California, specifically Los Angeles, Orange, and San Diego counties, have used the gas at a remarkably high rate. So high, in fact, that the state accounts for around 70% of the country's sulfurofluoride emissions, and in turn, up to 12% of the world's emissions. Once in the atmosphere, the sulfurofluoride can linger for over 40 years and work in the same way as other more infamous gases like carbon dioxide do in trapping infrared radiation on Earth. Its concentration on Earth has increased sixfold since 1978, though its current concentration of 3 parts per trillion is significantly less than other greenhouse gases. As it stands, the state is collecting more information about the gas before it begins to combat widespread use.
April showers have been persistent for the entire month, but I do see a pattern change on its way. Friday is not when the pattern change begins. A cold front will begin passing through on Friday afternoon from west to east. I think State College, that cold front will begin passing with minimal fanfare, just a couple showers, maybe an isolated downpour is possible across the Central Mountains by around the mid-afternoon into the early evening. And then that begins to push on out. Out behind the cold front will be some more sunny conditions and drier conditions as a whole. By Saturday, we'll begin to see that pattern begin to change as the cold front begins pushing off the Atlantic coast. Maybe just a couple isolated showers for far southeastern Pennsylvania and a slight chance for an afternoon or evening shower across the Central Mountains. I really don't think anybody's going to get washed out by any means as high pressure begins building in well out to our west across the central Mississippi valleys. It'll be a pretty mild day overall too, with highs in the high 50s. For our Sunday, it's going to be more of the same. That pattern really begins to hang tight. A ridge will begin building in out ahead of that high pressure over Illinois and Indiana. And Pennsylvania is kind of sandwiched in between two systems, one well to our south and one well to our north, and we'll have mostly sunny conditions. So for our forecast, it'll be a pretty soggy afternoon on Friday with a high of 63 with those afternoon and evening showers. I do think winds could gust over 10 miles per hour. That's certainly a possibility, so just be a little bit weather aware as that cold front passes through. For Friday, that cold front is well on its way out with a low of 43 degrees with showers tapering. It'll be a mostly cloudy night, but if you're going out on the town on Friday night, it'll be looking pretty good overall. Saturday will be the time when sunshine finally returns, as we saw on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. High at 58 degrees under mostly cloudy skies in the morning, with skies beginning to clear in the afternoon. And Saturday night will be a mostly clear night with a low of 34 with some possible frost. This will be a pretty late frost overall for central Pennsylvania. But Sunday is going to be more of the same that we saw on Saturday. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 56 degrees. It's looking to be quite a glorious day. Austin Long is up next with a feature on severe weather awareness.
The sun is out in full effect, and you know what that means? The potential for severe weather. There's a whole slew of events that could fall into the category of severe weather, including thunderstorms and tornadoes. With the threats comes the issues of dealing with safety and preparedness. Good thing, this week is Severe Weather Awareness Week.
The National Weather Service has dedicated this week in April to severe weather, and more importantly, how to be better equipped when facing it.
Severe Weather Awareness Week is a national safety campaign that serves as an annual reminder about the dangers associated with severe weather.
Severe weather comes in multiple forms and includes a variety of watches and warnings associated with them.
Severe weather is something that we can get in any portion of Pennsylvania in the form of either strong damaging winds with a thunderstorm, large hail, or tornadoes.
Thunderstorms are one of the most common threats that face us during the summer. Thanks to multiple factors, storms can strengthen rapidly.
We're looking for a few ingredients. We're looking for instability, which is how fast temperature decreases with height as you go up through the atmosphere. The next ingredient is moisture. Of course, you need moisture to form clouds and form thunderstorms. Third ingredient is a trigger. So there needs to be something that initiates those updrafts. They're not just going to rise on their own. They need some sort of initiating upward motion.
Some thunderstorms may not even meet the severe category, but caution should still be taken regardless.
If a severe thunderstorm warning is issued, that means forecasters anticipate winds to be in excess of 58 miles per hour or hail to be 1 inch in diameter or larger. Either of those can produce damage, especially the winds.
No matter if a storm makes it to the severe stage or not, you should always head indoors and take shelter if you hear or see thunder and lightning.
So straight line wind damage is the number one threat. And again, it's really those trees that are one of the most dangerous elements, one of those most dangerous objects to be around. Not only can they be downed by strong winds and land on somebody or somebody's home or car, but they're also a lightning risk.
Another off-stemming part of powerful thunderstorms is the potential for a tornado. Tornadoes should always be feared no matter where you are. To some surprise, tornadoes have occurred in every county in Pennsylvania, so there are truly no safe spaces to avoid twisters. There are a multitude of other tornado myths that simply just aren't true.
One of those interesting myths is that people should open their windows during tornadoes, and that is totally a myth. Unfortunately, a lot of people do that.
Some safety tips for tornadoes include seeking shelter away from windows, preferably a basement, and to avoid vehicles in places where loose debris can be tossed about. Another common severe weather hazard is flash flooding. Never walk or drive through flooded roadways and always seek higher ground to avoid the rushing waters. Remember the famous NWS flooding slogan, "Turn around, don't drown." The National Weather Service deals with all of these types of severe weather. However, a common confusion for the public that comes when dealing with severe weather is the difference between watches and warnings.
So a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch means that the ingredients are present for those hazards to occur, but there's no imminent threat yet. When the threat becomes imminent, when there is a storm that has developed and it's producing or about to produce those hazards, the strong winds or the hail, at that point we issue a warning and we want people to take action immediately.
To help distinguish between the two, the National Weather Service created a simple analogy to baking. It all has to do with the timing of weather variables and the interaction between them. Severe Weather Awareness Week was created with storm safety in mind. The National Weather Service aims to protect life and property by sending out timely warnings to help you best prepare for any weather event. They also encourage participation in reporting severe weather.
So if anybody does want to become involved with reporting severe weather to the National Weather Service, we do encourage people to sign up for the Skywarn program. You can go to our website and see when we offer Skywarn training classes.
Hopefully after this week, when you're out and about in the sun, you'll be a little more wary for the potential of severe weather. For Weather or Not, I'm Austin Long.
As mentioned in the weekend forecast, we are on our way up in terms of that seesaw, but how long are we going to stay up in our extended forecast? For our weekend recap, Friday is really our low point with that cold front moving through and some showery conditions in the afternoon and early evening, high of 63 degrees and a low of 43. But Saturday and Sunday is when that pattern changes and we begin rising on that seesaw with highs in the upper 50s and lows in the low 30s overall. And by Monday and Tuesday, we'll begin to raise the temperatures a little bit closer to average. Our average is about 63 degrees, so certainly looking to be quite about normal for this time of year. But Monday and Tuesday are when we really begin to rise pretty high up on that seesaw. But Wednesday, a trough of low pressure will begin to move through Pennsylvania, and that could result in some showery and cloudy activity for Pennsylvania. And then Thursday, Friday, we begin to rise back up in terms of that seesaw, under mostly cloudy skies on Thursday and mostly sunny skies on Friday, with temperatures rebounding quite nicely.
It's a very interesting thing you said about temperatures, not only in your extended, but also your weekend forecast has to relate to the Weather Whiz Quiz today. And I want to talk about our last frost that we usually get in State College. And so this year, our last frost, which is a day below 32, was on April 7th. And if this were to hold, how early would this year's final frost be relative to average? So is it A, the earliest on record, B, the second earliest on record, C, the third earliest on record, or D, the fifth earliest on record? If you guessed B, the second earliest on record, you would be correct. And Ben, it actually isn't the second earliest on record, it's tied for the second earliest on record, and that additional date occurred on April the 7th, 2011.
Wow, it's really impressive that we're pretty early in terms of our last frost of the season. When is the average for this time of year?
That's a good question. Normally it occurs on April 27th on any given year. So we are 20 days ahead of schedule this year in terms.
Wow, that's impressive. What's the record earliest?
So the record earliest, that is a good question, occurred in 1987, and that actually occurred on April 4th, so 3 days earlier than this year.
Wow, I'm really impressed that we're so far ahead of schedule for any kind of frost.
Absolutely. So we'll just have to wait and see if temperatures dip below, and we'll see if that changes. But thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's show. I'm Gavin Sandel. He's been Iaia. We will see you next week.